Hey, good morning. It is Guido, and we have a coffee talk. I got my Disneyland cup today. Rolling with 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Cheap stuff, at dark Italian roast. The dark coffees are very good. All right, got a couple things to talk about today. We are going to dive into the specials and sales. Sabaton is back in town. Did you miss him? I don't think I did. Heavy metal and tanks. All right, got it. We'll talk about that. We have some missions and today's episode of lazy website and UI interaction. It is like a dysfunctional family. It just keeps happening. All right, so we have trade. I'll show you how to do the trades if you want to do that, at least up to where you trade, because I don't want to trade, but I'll show you how that works. We're going to dive into the 9.22 tech tree, just take a quick look at how it actually shook out. It's not too different than what was advertised late end game, I guess I would call it. We're going to dive over to tanks.gg. I'm going to show you a pretty good function that they have there as far as looking at armor layouts on tanks. A lot of you may know this, but I'm going to dive into a couple of the specifics on that, things that will be helpful to you as you're learning about the tanks. And then at the end, we'll talk about the 1.0 beta HD server that is out right now and show you how you can get onto that thing. So let's go ahead and get started with Coffee Talk. I got a full cup of coffee. It is 8:30 on a Saturday, getting a late start, but let's roll. All right, let's start with the tank specials that they got going on. Time to shill for wargaming. That's all right, I'll beat them up later. We have the Primo Victoria is back, as I said. You've got several versions. You got the $84 version. You've got the $69 version, the $57 version, the looks like the $57 version, and I think you can, there it is, all the way buried down at the bottom. You can actually get just the tank, so it's hanging out down there. You can do that if you want. The KV 122 is out there. This is a pretty mediocre tank. I do not have this tank. I'm going purely by reputation, so I can't really tell you whether that's a good one or not, but you can actually get a $74 version of it if you want a bunch of war chest. Wow. All right, so Sabaton is back, and they have done this collaboration with Wargaming, and they're a heavy metal band from, I don't know, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, something like that. Norwegian, I believe. Europe. Is that close? They might be Icelandic. I don't know. Anyway, it's Sabaton. But what I found amazing on this is you come over here, you go to their page, and it says, hey, we got the Primo Victoria, which is essentially a Centurion 1, Swedish Centurion 1. Strange that, but whatever. And you get a zero skill crew. This is for the war chest, and that's for the ultimate. It tells you everything that you get. You can get it loaded, or you can just buy the tank. So, and you click buy, and it'll take you back over to the sales page we were just on. What's kind of funny and interesting is if you get the ultimate or war chest, which of course are the two most expensive ones, why is the ultimate below the war chest? It is. Anyway, let's not delve into that little mystery. If you do one of those two, the most expensive, you get some special missions, which it's pretty cool. Right on. And what are they? Oh my God, are you kidding me? You can get 60 of various emblems. Heroes, The Last Stand. I think that's their album. That's a song, I believe, or maybe it's a song and an album. And then you can get Primo Victoria, and then you can get the Sabaton emblem. All this stuff right here. Seriously, that's the extra stuff you get if you spend that much money. You get, oh my goodness. You know what's great about these things as well? You can't sell them. These are ones you can't sell. I got a bunch in my garage. You can't sell them. Whew. Anyway, there you go. So those are the specials and sales that they have going on. All right, let's jump over into the missions. We've got the client going here. You can see I've got my ISM that I've been grinding. I've managed to one market so far. I will have a full review of the ISM here very soon. I've got everything I need. I just need to knock it out. So let's jump into the missions. You'll note that there are no events. So interesting. There's not a on track right now, or if there is, it's not up here. I haven't tracked it that closely, so it seems like for the moment there's not an on track. For the missions, Got the Ace Tanker missions, pretty standard. You come down here, there's 2 of those going on at any one time, which is odd. They overlap anyway. That's how they do it. Tankrewards.com. All right, so they never, dysfunctional family, right? It's always the same thing over and over again, even though you keep telling them and you keep trying, right? So this started yesterday on the 10th, and it goes to the 2nd, which remember, that means you only have till the 1st. The 2nd's not going to count for us here in NA the way the reset works in the morning of the 2nd. So while technically, yes, it's to the 2nd, there's no way you can get anything done on the 2nd. I suppose maybe you might sneak one in the 30 minutes. Sometimes there's a delay there, but that's really getting into the weeds on that one. So 65 points apparently are available, and you need to be in the top 3, and it's the thing they've been doing for a few months now, tier 4 through 6, 7 and 8, and then 9 and 10. And that gives you 3 points per day, possible total. They've dumped on top a mission for the Primo Victoria, which is that tank on sale, the Sabaton thing I talked about. So, but there's no indication of how many you can get. I didn't dig into the verbiage on the website. We're going to look at it actually too deeply. So I don't know if it's 5, 10, or endless. I think last time it was endless, to be quite honest, which was kind of interesting, and I think was a mistake. Now I did the math. I dug into this because it didn't make sense to me that there was 65. There are 20 days. You can go ahead and look at it. I did this several times, math in public. I won't do it right here in front of everybody, but from what I can tell, there are 20 days where it's possible to get 3 of the points. 3 times 20, I'm pretty sure, is 60. So that leaves 5 points available. The assumption then would be that the 5 points are for the Primo Victoria. But last time I think they said it was 10. So the math is a little bit weird here. I'm not exactly sure how it works. And you might say, I guess I'll just go on over to the website. So maybe if I'd go over to the website, the tankrewards.com website, maybe I could find out what's going on. So let's go over to the website and, oh, well, there's last month's 2 days to selection, and then here's the Sabbath. Okay, all is not lost. All is not lost. Maybe we can go over to here, and that's the ×3, which we'll talk about in a moment. So let's see if we can find supply raid missions. And no, because that's all tankrewards.com stuff, isn't it? Maybe it's the Sabaton thing. Sabaton, where is it? Where'd those guys go? I could have swore they were. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Here he is, B. Okay, so maybe I can come down here. And nope, that's just selling me stuff. And it's the things we already talked about. So, good luck. Good luck figuring that one out, my friends. Good luck figuring that one out. Okay, so that's that. For the other missions we have going on, you got Supply Raid 321. I don't know why it wouldn't be 1, 2, 3, but that's how they numbered it. This one over here that's behind my ugly mug is actually number 3. Number 1, you need to, in 3 battles, be in the top 10 experience. Then you need to be on number 2, top 10 with damaged vehicles or damaged 10 vehicles over any number of games. But in order for your damaged vehicle count to advance, you have to be in the top 10 experience. And that's to keep bots from getting some of these things done. Although bots would have to shoot and kill things for the kill and damage. And this is the same thing with destroying vehicles. Same idea, you have to be in the top 10 experience. And that is pretty much it for the missions and the Sabaton stuff. Interesting note on this, until about an hour ago, the website was incorrect in regards to these 3 things. So I think it was the destroy damage or destroy vehicles. The website didn't say destroy vehicles, it just said be in the top 10. But somebody's gone in there and fixed it within probably about the last hour. So that's pretty interesting that they're at least paying attention to that. All right, for the trade-in thing, this is not a good deal as far as I'm concerned. But if you just have a tank you absolutely hate and you want to at least get half your gold out of it, instead of just getting silver for selling it, then I suppose it is a player. So this is how it works. Go to your tech tree and the KR. Now, supposedly this little symbol on the bottom left is telling you that it's trade-in eligible, but most all the tanks are. We'll look at that in just a minute, and I'm not exactly sure why some of them have the trade-in thing on them, and it may be that that's because I can buy it. That's probably what it actually is. Because I can buy it, it's telling me that it is trade-in eligible. which means I can buy it with a trade-in, I guess is what I'm saying. So you're going to click on it like you're going to buy it, and you're going to go over here and click trade-in. If you want to just straight up purchase, that's the button for you. Click trade-in, and you're going to select a vehicle. And this is standard UI for these guys. It's very confusing unless you think about it for a moment. Let's say I didn't want my T34B anymore because I have 2 T34s. I keep it because if I ever get another free one, I get a bunch more gold. So that's why it's sitting around. But let's say you didn't want to deal with it. It's worth 6,000, which is 50% of its total worth. Danger, danger. If any of these vehicles are on sale, you'll either get hurt by the sale when you're selling it, so you'll get less money, half of whatever its sale price is, or you'll get helped by the sale if, say, the patent KR was on sale. So watch out what you're doing right here with sales going on and the same tanks being on sale. It can help you or hurt you if you're not careful. Then I'm going to select the T34B, and it does the math. Good for me because I'm not very smart. And drops that 8,700 gold, currently patent KR, down to 2,700 because I'm getting 6,000 out of my T34B. And the nice thing is that this list shows you all the tanks you have that can be traded in and what the worth is. Realize that you cannot trade in more than one tank for a trade-in, which would be nice because you could build up enough gold to just get the thing for free, but you can't do that. So you had 3 or 4 lower tier, 5 lower tier things you didn't want. Can't do that. So I now owe them 2,700 gold, and what's bizarre is you have to actually type in the amount. This blows my mind. I'm not really sure how that works. You can also down here get the crew sorted out for it. So say I wanted to go gold crew, it'll automatically add that on there, and now I owe them 3,700 gold, and there you go. My understanding is that you cannot do this if you don't have enough gold. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to look at that. My understanding is you can't do it if you don't have the gold to actually buy the thing outright. So if anyone's got any essay on that down below. So say I only had 4,000 gold, I'm pretty sure I can't even start the process. If I can, please correct me down below. But that is basically how the trade-in operation works. I just wanted to show you this because there is more information on the website. It is under, let me just back out of it here real quick. It's in the trade-in, Trade Old for New Vehicles, Volume 3. So you click right there, and it does give a decent explanation of how it works. The words make more sense once you dig into the tech tree and look at it. I was afraid a couple times when I was clicking stuff. I didn't want to actually buy or trade something, so I was unsure at certain aspects where it would actually commit or execute the trade, but I went right up to where I believe it gets executed. You put that gold in, then you click exchange or whatever it said right there. So no harm, no foul to dig around and see what you got and something that might interest you. But the reason I'm over here, other than that babbling, is here's the vehicles that can be traded in. It's pretty much everything, really, which is why it makes me wonder why there wasn't a little symbol on all my premiums in there. And that, I don't know, it may be just because, like I said, I hadn't actually bought those particular ones yet. But that, again, why would you put the symbol in weird places like that? Anyway, these are the vehicles that you cannot trade in, which I found kind of odd. The T92, that's just one people bought. I mean, it's why is it on the list? This looks like the list from last time, by the way, like it hasn't been touched. Chieftain T95 is a prize or is a tank Clan Wars tank, so I get that. ISU, I think, is a gift of some kind. Cannon Jagdpanzer, why? That's one people bought. It's not particularly overpowered or whatever. It makes me wonder if they're afraid everyone who owned one would sell it. The KV4 Krivets or whatever that thing's called. Okay, yeah, that's a special tank. The 244, I don't even know what that is, to be quite honest. Sturv 81, don't know. T44 100, that's a prize tank, but there's plenty of prize tanks up in the other list, so unknown why that one would be there. And the R is another special tank. So just kind of weird that a couple of those were on there. I don't get it. But I suppose they have the reasons. All right, let's move. Alrighty, let's talk about the Ruski tech tree and how it all shook out. Now, I have already moved my crews around, so I'm not going to have any good SA. You're going to have to dig around because what happened is your camo was stripped off, your crews were pulled out. I think at least one crew was retrained. It's a little bit weird. There is documentation on what happened, but you're going to have to dig around. If you have a big garage like I do, it took me a while to sort out what the flip was going on. The one that irritates me the most, and it can't be helped, but with the camo getting all stripped off and the multiple camo pieces have to be put on, I was like, oh, that drove me crazy. So anyway, what happened? Let's see. So you've got the 268.4, and this is under the assumption that you have unlocked everything. Mileage is going to vary if you haven't unlocked everything. For me, what happened is I got the 268.4, and the 122.54 just disappeared. That's the tank that was removed, and you got nothing for it. You didn't get nothing for it. You got a replacement tank, okay? There was some weirdness about if it was unlocked or not and you hadn't bought it. I can't speak to that right now. The 263, however, got moved down to tier 9. I don't think it got nerfed too much. I see a lot of these running around now, actually, more than before when it was a tier 10. Excuse me. T54 goes to 62A and 140. This is where it gets changed. The 44 now splits off to the 430, which used to be a tier 10, moved down to tier 9 with some nerfs. And now there's a tier 10 Object 430U, which is a very good medium and is a lot like the Chinese 121, but better. This is a great medium right here, so highly recommend playing it. You see a lot of these running around. A lot of people call them OP. I don't know yet, haven't played it enough. Seems very bouncy though for a medium, very definitely. About an 8.5 second reload, so it's not pew-pew as fast as the 62A and 140 is, but 8 is fairly comfortable for a medium. Not great, but fairly comfortable. The 430 is now in this 416 line, not now, but is in the 416 line. Actually, I think it did change. Doesn't matter, this is where it is. 416, can't keep track of all this stuff. 416 goes to the 430, and these are the rear-mounted turret kind of mediums. And it doesn't have a tier 10 now. See how it says coming soon right there? That will be another rear-mounted medium of some kind that they'll make up from whole cloth. The IS splits to both the IS-3 and to the ISM. I'm currently grinding the ISM, mentioned earlier. I will have a review on that. That goes to the 705 and then up to the 705A. So it does have a tier 10. So I'm grinding the ISM. The 705 will be the next tank. The IS-3 now goes to both the T10 and the Object 257. The 257 goes to the IS-7. The T10 goes to a coming soon tank. To a coming tune tank. Coming tune tank. Man, I'm having a hard time speaking today. Maybe I need more coffee. Hold on. Let me have some more coffee. I will also have a review on the 257 and the 2705s once I play them enough. The 257, from what I can see, is a very good tank, bouncy from all directions. It seems a lot like the IS-6 used to be at tier about 2 years ago, when the IS-6 just bounced everything that was around. Based on that kind of old meta. 257 seems to do that at tier 9. 8's having a heck of a time penning this guy because it's got some really weird angled armor. I don't say weird, but it's highly angled and it's angled everywhere. The weird part is even the side is highly angled is what I'm saying there. Alright, so that is it for the 9.22 changes for the rush. I wanted to show you guys the tanks.gg website. Most of you probably are all well aware of what this has, but it's got some great stuff as far as the models and how your shots are going to work on tanks. Before we get started, I'll just show you that you can look yourself up here. I'll just be narcissistic and look myself up. You see your numbers. It's got 24 hours, 60 days, 1,000 battles, the number of battles that happen, a bit of the information on how you've been doing, so you can watch trend items. It's got some pretty good charts here, these web charts, I guess they're called. This is on number of battles and by tier and then by type of tank as far as class and then by country. You can see that my win rate is actually, that's not win rate. That's damage is climbing. My win rate is flatlined, and my win rate is going down. But look at it; it's all relative, right? It looks like a fairly precipitous decline, but you're talking the difference between 27,043 and over to 27,000.7 damage. Then again, same thing here. This is like a couple points difference. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You can go to win rate. You can see the old web diagram on win rate and all that stuff. So that's pretty good. But better than that, really, other than looking at yourself and trying to figure out how cool you are, go to the full tank list over here. And this is every tank in the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the IS. So we'll go to USSR, and we'll go down to Tier 8, the ISM. There's the ISM. So we'll click on ISM. And you get a lot of great info. So everything you want to know about this tank is right here. What I want to show you, though, is the 3D model. And this is pretty fantastic right here. So you can see how much armor is on each surface of this tank, and it's color coded. And the other cool thing is you can put your cursor over it right there, and as you move it around, you can see the effective armor. And it's telling you what it takes to pen that thing. And it's got a chance there kind of deal. Which, this, to be quite honest, I haven't figured out. Somebody can fix me down on the results. It's obviously using some kind of gun. And I don't know if it's its own gun or a standard pen, or maybe, is this what it is? No, that's where the different armor is. Anyway, I won't dive in that too much. All right, hey, let's dive into it because this was bugging me. So after I got done with everything else, I dug back into tanks.gg. Here's how this works, which most of you probably know. We're back on this collision model thing here. If you go over to compare, and I'm talking about how you know what gun that you're comparing it to. Right now I'm using it against the 100mm SA-47, and those are the numbers I'm getting. So that's the gun I'm using. You can also change the ammo, so you can look at gold ammo or HE or whatever. The way you change that is come over here to compare, and there's all the tanks you can use to compare. So you just click on the tank you want to use. I'm going to use the, let's use the 112. So go to the 112, I go back to the 3D model, I click down here, I'm now with the 112s, 122, D25, TA. So that's how that works. That way you can pick whatever gun and ammo you want to check your armor out against, and that's the information that you will be giving. The default is against his own gun. So just wanted to sort that out for you guys. What I liked even better than that, though, is if you go to a live, what's cool about this is you can start to check how angling works for you. And this is a pretty good object lesson right here. So on the side with not great armor, you can see that it's green. Fairly easy to pen, that tank. As he starts to angle, you can see the colors change. Look at that. You have a really hard time penning that front at that high angle. And that makes sense, right? That's kind of the ricochet thing. More angle, holy cow, purple, you're never going to go through. That's automatic ricochet, basically. It depends on the gun mechanics. We won't get into that, but it's going to be hard. You can see that you angle him pretty good. He's actually got some really effective side armor and decent on the front, even better than if you're just looking at him straight on. Looking down, that's flat plating that I talk about a lot. That makes it easier to go through because there's less angle. It's just a nice visual representation of how all that stuff works. And what's interesting is you can also find other situational weak spots. This is a pretty good angle on the ISM, I think we would all agree. Got some red, but holy cow, what's this? Well, there's a little curve with a relatively flat spot right there. And if he's giving you this highly angled look where you're going to have a hard time penning anything, you've actually got that flat plate piece of armor right there. So this is a great tool for kind of looking around and figuring out, all right, where are those little spots on these tanks and what does the angle look like where I can be effective doing it. One thing it doesn't, I guess it does have it, the color's not there because this is the track. There depends on the tank, but there's usually some hole underneath the track right here where you can get through it. And it looks like it's actually doing that for you. As I move it across, it's showing the armor thickness, but you don't see the visual representation necessarily down there. Let's see if it does show it on the collision model. No, not necessarily. It's just got the big blue track. Remember that heat or HE is going to get eaten by tracks more often than not right there. Anyway, so there's tanks.gg. It's a pretty good tool. Recommend it. All right, for the ranked battles, I didn't mention we talk about that at the beginning, but it is back. So I was wrong. They did decide to continue with ranked battles, and they've made an honest attempt to improve them. This looks promising. It's quite a grind, so it's going to be a grind, guys. It's a grindy game. I don't particularly care for it, and I don't play that late at night when this thing is going. It depends on what the time frame is that they allow ranked battles to go on. So we'll see how all that shakes out. The fact is, I don't know because they haven't given us a date or a time frame on as in what time of day this thing is going to happen. I couldn't find a date. 15 March seems to stick in my mind, but I don't know if that's exactly true. It might be 15 February for all I know. Anyway, how does it work? It is no longer 3 stages, it is 15 ranks. And you've got to have X number of chevrons for each rank. And it looks like the chevrons are kind of listed right there, although I haven't found a written out list other than this little graphic. If you click on it, there you go. You can take a look at that. For example, one chevron gets you to rank 1. Does this mean 2 gets you here? I think it means 2 more will get you to rank 2, 2 more to 3, 2 more to 4. That's what it seems to be anyway. They have shields. At rank 5, 10, and 13, once you reach that rank, you can afford to lose 3 times. I'm assuming where you would lose chevrons. We'll talk about whether you win or lose a chevron in a moment. The losses then don't count. They won't knock you back a rank. Remember that if you get to a rank, say I get to rank 5, and I bust through my shield, and I have a 20-game losing streak, and I lose chevrons every single time. Eventually, I would go back to rank 1 as far as what I was currently ranked, but you never lose the top rank that you got. So for purposes of prizing and whatever, you're a rank 5, and if you can then climb back up and get past it, then you'll always hold that rank, although you may fall back and have a hard time getting past it again. Right there. The shield thing is interesting because my understanding from what it says is, say you're at rank 5, let's just go with 5, and you lose 3 times. You shouldn't lose a rank. Whether you actually lose some chevrons or no, I don't know. It doesn't really explain that very well, how that works. As for example, if I'm at rank 8 and I've got a couple chevrons, but I'm not up enough for rank 9, and I lose, my shield should stop me from 3 losses. But if in those 3 losses, and we'll get into when you lose a chevron, I lose 3 chevrons, does it just take me to 0 chevrons? I'm not sure how that works, so we'll have to see. When you get to the victor goes the spoils, this lists what you get. So if you win and you're the top 3, you get 2 chevrons. That's actually pretty good. 4 to 10, 1. 11 to 15 is a push. You get nothing. If you lose and you're number 1, you get a chevron. All right, fair enough. 2 to 5 is a push. I think that's pretty good. And 6 to 15 is a minus. Here's what I don't know. Does this loss where I got a chevron minus one of my shield losses? I don't know. Good question. It didn't really say it right there. In addition to the shield thing, 1 win will reset the shield. And I assume 1 win without a gain in a chevron will also reset the shield back to 3 or 2 or 1. That's going to be interesting on how that works. I like what they're doing, but it really seems kind of overly complicated, and I don't think it explains it very well here. If somebody else has more essay, feel free to put it down there in the comments. There's a bunch of rewards. You can look into that. I'm not going to unpack that for now. All right, the last thing is probably the biggest news in Watt that's going to happen this year, and unknown when that is. They're saying no later than March, but we'll see. But if you go over here, update 1.0, join the beta. This is the HD upgrade. Going to be definitely a graphics upgrade. Whether it's a gameplay upgrade remains to be seen. I'm already a little bit concerned. Anecdotally, Scorpiani on the main forums put out a quick article about Abby and some of the points that were cut off. And the points that were cut off were points where you could actually move from, say, the 1-2 line to the middle through the little ditch right there in the water, and move from the 8 line over to the middle, or from the middle over to the 8 line. And those are access points to get out of the funnel that you're currently in, and those are blocked. Whether that means there's other openings somewhere else, and he only showed the ones that people use currently, or whether it means they're completely blocked, either way, that's a little bit concerning. However, if you want to run around the maps and check it out, you can join the beta. There's a lot of verbiage in here. For me, if I was designing this page, I'd have a big button that says Test Server Installer. Come join the beta. Guess where it is? All the way down here, here, here. Unbelievable. Maybe they want people who are real serious about it, who can track it down. I guess that might be part of the calculus, but that just seems bizarre to me. You put a big title, join the beta, and then I can't find the dang install. Where's the installer, dude? I'll be honest, if I wasn't that interested in World of Tanks, I'd have just walked away long before I found it. Anyway, I found it. It's down lower. If you want to check it out, do it to it. All right, that is it for Coffee Talk today. I'm just about done with my coffee. We talked about specials. Sabaton is back. Talked about the missions. A little bit of the UI silliness continuing right there. How to trade. So hopefully that helps you out. 9.22. Obviously it's out. Lots of changes. We talked about the tech tree. Tanks.gg. Definitely recommend going to that site and looking at that, especially for armor layouts. If it's a new tank you haven't fought or used, whether you're seeing them and you can't fight them, having trouble, or you've got a new one, you want to know how your angling and whatnot works, go there. You can also look yourself up and stare at yourself in the mirror. We talked about the ranked battles change, and we talked about the beta, the 1.0 beta, which will be the big news. That'll be a subject, probably quite a bit of Coffee Talks in the future. That is it for today, guys. Have a happy Sunday, and we will see you next week.